Hey, welcome to the call, guys. This is Farhan, and today's topic is security policies. So, without further wasting your time, let's start. Okay. So we have a definition. You can read it. But let me just tell you what security policies means. They're just kind of like a rules, which kind of like show you what we have to protect and how we have to protect in the sense. Security policies, obviously, you can imagine policies. That there are a set of rules which are there to control something and to protect something and protect something from someone, and control, to have a control on it. So we can have a very easy example on it. Let's take an example. We have a bank here, and what you save in a bank, you keep your funds there, you keep your money there. What if an employee of a bank, goes to the locker, and they just took your money and just run away, somewhere, and now being found. So there are possibilities, of course, there are possibilities, but in that scenario, security policies, take place. There are a lot of things, there's authorization kind of stuff, only the owner of the locker can access the locker, not anyone else. Even though, they might have keys, you too as well. But there are policies which actually protects the owner and every kind of stuffs. Authentication, authorization, that doesn't matter. Authentication is basically, will have other kind of verifications, maybe a finger verifications, or maybe a key verification, that kind of stuffs. And authorization, who have responsibility, who have the what we call that stuff, who have the authority to basically access that locker or not. So it's basically that. So these things are actually protected by rules and policies. So policies, if there are not policies, then anybody can do whatever they want. It's just like that. So it's sets of rules. In cybersecurity, we can say a simple example in just like that. It could be a very different example. It's just according to my kind of thinking. So we have a playbook in all the companies. So playbook is kind of like a book, where our history events is recorded. It's just like you have a DDoS attack, and like in the past, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. So that DDoS attack and its procedure, how the company handled that kind of attack, is basically written in the playbook. So it is very good practice to actually read the playbook before any kind of attack. Not the whole playbook, but just have any kind of like a rule, kind of thing. So it's policies of many of the companies to go with the playbook if you face any kind of like a similar attack which is written in the playbook, and you kind of like face this. So that's a very good practice. So I think you understand the meaning of security policies. So let's move forward and say why they are important. Okay, so regular, clear security rules and expectations provides clear. Of course, they provide then like very clear kind of rules and regulations, because they tell you don't have to. An employee cannot access the owner's locker. It is the rules. And it is very expectations. The prediction is there that they won't able to do that. They will not do that. These are the expectations of it. So that's how the in cybersecurity as well, it will happen as well. If you are projecting a sub or something like that, the expectations are there that they will get protected. And reduce human errors, of course. If you have policies, you will be always get reminded. You just like that. Take an example of a password. You have a password, and you know that there will be an 8-digit password, not very simple wording. You should have special kind of characters, hashtag, and all that kind of stuff. So it is very important. It's just kind of like a policy that you have to implement. It's kind of like a reduce human error, because if you just have a simple kind of like a password, then your password can be cracked, and anybody can just access your Instagram or Facebook, and post post any kinds of miserable kind of stuffs. Okay, so the third thing is help achieve compliance. Of course, they do help achieve the compliance and all that kind of stuff. ISO, ISMS. They help the companies to basically have the kind of standards. They are the minimum kind of standards to actually implement security. Yeah, ISO is basically, I told you that in our last videos, that it is a kind of like a minimum standards that company have to follow before entering into cyber security kind of thing, or maybe a department in a company. That if they are handling some kind of data, they have to show to the government that yeah, we are capable of handling that data. So it is very important. One company have to have that kind of certification. They should have, an IT company should definitely have an ISO 27001 certifications. GDPR, General Data Protection Law, is just for Europeans, and the rules and regulations here that Europeans data will be kept separate from other world country, other people, other countries people data. And also they have to report into 72 hours if there is any kind of attack, the company got attacked by a hacker, and yeah, they have to tell the customer that your data is being lost. We have an exploit and it is basically read by a hacker. Yeah, you have to tell everything about to the customer and got to report to everyone. And at the end we have, protect data, systems, and network. Yeah, it does. This is the basic thing of security policy, that it does protect policies, okay? So we have common types of security policies. So of course, okay, let's rock and roll and study about them. Acceptable use policy. So these kind of policies are basically, you'll find in a lot of terms and guidelines kind of stuff. How we will use that application which you have downloaded, and any kind of software which you have downloaded, how you will use it, what are the limitations of it. If you will read it, then you'll able to just get to know, yeah, that is acceptable use policy. Even though we have that in our schools and university as well. You gotta be disciplined. You don't have to just brought like that different weird kind of rules. We taught that in our schooling years. Of course, there are rules just like that. So, and password policies as well. I've told you that, yeah, you gotta have at least an 8 digit of your password, and use your like special kind of characters, hashtag, dollar, whatever you wanted to use. But yeah, you should definitely have a strong password, not very simply guessed. And what the thing is that, like, many of the people, they have their password with their names, or maybe like something about their birthday or something like that, which they can remember. It's a good thing, but in social engineering attacks, they can be cracked. That's how hackers, they call you, they ask something about you, and they try to guess, yeah, that could be their password. So they're gonna be able to crack with that. They can crack just by guessing. They have that kind of methodology, all that. Access control policy, how you will basically, access your, how you will access the systems. Maybe you cannot, like, you have your internet, you'll be able to use only 2 GB of data in a day. So that's kind of like a access control kind of policies. That's a kind of like a limitations that yeah, you can only use that much of data. That's the only control you can do. And for example, if you go to any kind of website, you cannot able to just go to the admin page and yep, you can do that. You cannot do illegal stuffs there. You will just be as a user, okay? Just like that. And data protection policy. Of course, data protection policies are just like, related to data, directed data. There could be a lot of more in that. We will discuss later, maybe we get a chance for that. And this is incident response policies. And that's response policies, like if any kind of attack happens to the company, or you found any kind of attack, just like in GDPR, GDPR, they have a rule that yeah, you got to inform the customer in 72 hours, and it's just like that. It's an incident response policy, okay? Yeah, it's one of them. GDPR is just a total like a whole, and it could be inside it as well. Then bring your own device policy. It's just basically for an employees, in companies. They're like, okay, they have different systems for their company, and they have their own mobile phone, their own systems. And if they wanted to do any kind of like a personal kind of stuff, they should definitely do that stuff in their own devices, not in a company devices, because it is very very crucial for the business. And if any kind of wrong link got clicked, it can basically just destroy the whole operations, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, physical security policies, of course, they are fences and all that kind of stuff, and you should have the fingerprint or card lock systems. Then only you will be able to access. The servers room should be closed. There should be security guards and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a basic kind of thing. And yep, with that we are completely with our common types of security policies. We have a chart here basically, and it basically tell us about high level requirements. So we have policies here. Policies is very important. Okay, let me just change. Yep. So we have policies here. Policies are on the top here. It is basically decided by the leadership, by the top management, and it says the what and why, what we are actually protecting and why we are protecting. It is very important. It's a very important questions in policies to know what you are protecting and why you are protecting, just like in the bank law and all that kind of stuff. And we have, we told you that it is approved by leadership. Okay, it is repeated. It is the agent really. So yep, I never minded that. And now we got standards here. Standards say, yep, we have to maintain the standards. The outside and inside, that kind of thing. This should be not any kind of quality kind of losses. We have discussed that in our earlier videos. What is standards? And procedures is like step-by-step instructions. It will be implemented by the mid kind of level managers and all that kind of stuff. Roles, responsibilities, action. What will be the roles and regulations? Okay, the top management, the leadership will decide. Okay, we will have in policy that everyone will keep their mobile phone. At not like on the personal table, but at the locker they will have their mobile phone, and that's the standard. That specific detailed requirement they will have. Like a let me say that like a standard. They will make that standard. That they will post that kind of thing on the board and all that kind of stuff. They will have a rule. They will have a policy. Okay, policy is that they will have a rule. We can say that's it's a rule, and that procedure. This procedure is done by manager mid-level. They will tell their employees that you got to keep your phone in the locker, not on your table, on your working table, and that's how we're gonna do with that. And at the end, we got a guideline, and that's how you're gonna implement and all that stuff. And at the end, it's a control. It's control, like is the things is getting done or not, is getting out of your hands or just like that. So with that, we are finished with our videos, and I tried my best to make you understand, guys. But I hope you have a good day or night. So with that, peace.